Hi, welcome to Dr. D TV. Today I'm talking with Andrea, and we're really excited to learn more about her business and what she's doing. So Andrea, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you got into this?
Sure, Julie. Really, I think that we can all improve with age, and that's my quest, is to help other women, especially women over 40, get better and better every day. And I know sometimes we wake up and we feel like, I'm so tired and I feel old. It doesn't have to be that way. So for me, life changed about 9 years ago. My children were about a little over 1 and 9 years old, and I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was just, the rug getting kind of pulled out from under you. I had this something going on for years. It had been fine, and then this time it wasn't. It was cancer. And ultimately I had a double mastectomy, reconstruction, and I needed answers for myself, like what happened to me, what could I have done differently. I wrote a book on breast cancer, and I wanted to start improving, feeling better. And I've been on this quest, like I said, to improve with age. And that's what I've been working on for the past 9 years and helping other women do the same.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you've been doing. Obviously one of your successes is beating breast cancer, which is amazing. And I think that's always wonderful for women to meet other women who have beat breast cancer and are moving forward. What's some of your biggest successes along with all this change and adding health that you've experienced?
It's really about helping others like you do every day. So just seeing some of the success stories, ladies that maybe had yo-yoed with dieting for years, and now I've helped them in the past few years really reach a different stage of their life. One in particular, Susie, she'd go up and down, and she'd go on some diet, and she'd lose some weight and wind up gaining more. She's more active now, and she's actually older than I am, and more fit than I think she was 10, 15 years ago. And my own mother, for instance, 81 years old, extremely good health, feeling great, vibrant, so seeing other people along with me, reaching success in their life and wellness. Wellness, that's what it's about. Preventing illness and feeling great, having energy. Yesterday I was at Legoland with my son all day. Felt great. I know some ladies younger than me, and if you've got something major going on, God bless you, and I hope you feel better. But I do feel we can take preventive steps ourselves to get better. And it's about wellness. So what are you doing to get better every day?
What do you do in particular with your wellness business? I know I see a lot of exercise videos, and I know we don't have time for you to go into everything,
Right.
but what's maybe some of your main focuses with your wellness business that you do?
Well, right now I'm creating a program. It's called The Best You, and it's an online course. And so there's basically 6 components that people could be working on. And, and I don't make it too technical because I think if it gets too difficult, people don't want to do it. So the key components, like you mentioned, exercise. I'm a big proponent of exercise. I try to exercise almost every day, which turns out to be 5 to 6 times a week. And you find something that you love. So exercise being one. Eating is extremely important. And learning how to eat in a way that it's not a diet. It has to become a lifestyle. So I recommend eating 5 to 6 small meals a day. Good combinations of fat, proteins, and healthy carbohydrates. And eating every 2 or 3 hours so you never spike your blood sugar. You don't want to go up and down and be on this roller coaster. More flat all day of consistent energy. Sleep's really important. So I know as a mom of 2 young children, that's hard for you sometimes. And I went through the same thing. My daughter didn't sleep till she was about 4 through the night.
Yes.
So you probably can relate, and a lot of moms can. My daughter's now 18 at college, and my son's 10. So things have changed. That doesn't mean you stop worrying about them when they're out of the house. But anyway, so, sleep can be affected for that too. But what I like to recommend is backing it out. Like this morning, I knew I had to be at your place early, so I had to go to bed earlier. That's difficult sometimes, but we have to push ourselves, especially those of us who are a little more nocturnal and would rather stay up late. And another thing is no electronics. So no Facebook, no computers, no laptops, no phones, those little phones, like an hour plus before you go to bed. So that's part of the sleep component. Stress. Do you have any stress, Julie?
Yes.
Do you mind if I call you Julie?
Yes, that's fine.
Stress is a big factor. So what is it going to take to decrease your stress? I've been meditating lately. I find that helps either in the morning, mid-afternoon. Breathing. We take breathing for granted, but it's something that we can all be working on, taking some deep inhales, holding it, and actually exhaling longer than I inhale, I find helps me a lot, and maybe will help you too. And if you're really stressed, when you focus on your breathing, I think it really decompresses, and you'll feel the decrease in stress pretty quick. So those are 3 of the components. And then building your immune system, and that is part of what we just talked about, doing those things and having fun in your life, and also really amazing supplementation. And by that I mean high quality vitamins.
Absolutely.
So those are some of the key components, and those are what we're working on in this course.
Okay.
And I know they sound easy, but are we doing them?
It's, what you mentioned is I think what everyone strives to do, but they find themselves, I know, like you mentioned, we're business entrepreneurs, so that keeps us busy, and we're parents, and that keeps us busy. And, as you talk about the different balance is probably one of the hardest things to do. And so, people always ask me, oh, how do you keep up with everything you're doing? And, I say a lot of time management, and really trying to make sure that I'm balanced in what I'm doing. And it's very hard. Sometimes I'm not always balanced. And sometimes I know this year I remember thinking, gosh, we have been sick with the flu for like month after month after month, So different things like that just slow you down. So I think what you're doing is fantastic, because in America especially, I find that we are very unbalanced in our lives. So we have a lot of extremes we do. I mean, so much so that we have shows about people losing weight because we have so much obesity. So it's kind of scary when we're the country that has shows about people losing weight, where other countries people are starving. So I think this is really fantastic what you're doing. And I think it's needed. And just discipline and overall, I think is something difficult for us to have. I learned a lot of discipline when I was playing sports in college, so I've been able to carry that over. But we don't always see that all the time. So I think this is really fantastic and really great what you're doing. What are some of the challenges that you've faced in trying to put this all together?
I think for any of us, and especially I'd like to call us women of a certain age, you're not there yet, but I just turned 50 in September, and I want to say to the younger ladies, get your act together as early as you can in life, because it doesn't necessarily get easier emotionally. We have our waves and peaks, and when we're pregnant and different things. But hitting that perimenopause and menopausal type age, there's mood imbalances. And I think for women in particular, hormonal levels change all the time. So, challenging for me has been like, mood. And that's something, so I've been working on personally, and then I help others, because when you have something yourself, you can, I think, appreciate what other people are going through even more. And so for me, being a business owner, mom, like you mentioned, the ups and downs of a business could be stressful. And so dealing with the stress and the mood. So for me, I've looked at personal growth and personal development, and that's something that really helps me move forward. So I've been doing a Tony Robbins program. It's old. It's from like 1986, I would say. It's called Personal Power 2. It's a 30-day CD set. And I just started doing it again. I started it soon after the new year, and it comes with a little journal, and you write things. So I think things like that help. And so always trying to integrate new things and improvements into your life that can move you from here to where you want to go. So, but it's a challenge. The mood is definitely a challenge.
Yeah, I find entrepreneurs, when we look at statistics, 90% of the companies out there are small to medium businesses. They're people like us. And then only 10% are the big companies like Walmart's and Target's. So we really encompass the economy. And as small businesses, we have such a challenge because we're trying to compete against these big programs. And, especially in the health industry, I mean, there's so many things out there. I mean, all these diet pills, all these programs. And it's difficult, for people to be educated. Catherine and I were talking about how important it is to have education in what we're doing, because if people aren't educated, they don't understand what we're trying to do as a business, and how we're trying to reach out and work with them. And I find the education is difficult because we're just blasted with so much marketing and information. And we always make the joke, well, it's on the internet, so it must be true. I always love that commercial where the girl says she's found a French model, and the guy comes up and he says, we, and and we all know he's not a French model. So, I think that, as you mentioned, just the mood also, businesses are emotional because they're our passion. And so it's difficult when we hit those downs and ups, like you said, to keep that mood here and not drop down, oh, things aren't going very good right now. So I agree that's really difficult. But it sounds like you have a good formula for dealing with that. So once again, that's something that's great that you can work with people on. Have you been stuck, or were you ever stuck, and how did you get out of it?
Yeah, sure. I get stuck maybe on a daily basis sometimes. And I like to think I'm a woman of action. And the more I have to do, it is about time management, like you mentioned before, and picking some of the key things you need to do every day and getting them done. But I think we all get stuck. And so for me, it's about integrating the personal development, listening to CDs. Like whenever I'm driving, I plug something in, something positive. There's just so much out there, like you just said, with the internet, too much information. We live in a world it's just too much. And so sorting through or filtering out some of the crap or just detaching it from it and kind of slowing down and maybe having quiet time like we want with our kids sometimes. But as adults, we need to push ourselves to have that as well. So I find the meditation's really been helpful of really just kind of regaining focus. Like for me, I feel like for a while I was losing focus, like too much stimulation out there. And I think that could be overwhelming for any of us. And so it's become more a matter of focus, like just focusing on whatever I'm doing, not multitasking, like I did most of my life.
Yeah.
And so it's a challenge not to do it. But regaining that focus on whatever I'm trying to accomplish has really been helpful.
And it's interesting that you said you listen to CDs in the car. I myself, and as well Catherine, we were talking about that. We don't have a lot of time, and so we use that car time to just sit and listen. And sometimes I do just have some nice quiet music going, and as I drive, I'm just kind of getting my focus as well. And I take that, 30 minutes to just kind of, just have a nice mellow time. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and it is always loud, and they're always running around. And they're very energetic. And yeah, sometimes the noise level is just off the charts. And so having that time when sometimes I'm driving to a client or just to go teach a class, it's like, I'm just going to put on some mellow music and enjoy this time. And I agree with you. Sometimes, I've got one phone ringing over here, one phone over here, 3 computers up, an iPad over here, and you're bombarded by technology.
Right.
So, and this is just my assumption, but I really feel like since we brought in a lot of technology, even though I use it every day, I think it definitely has taken away from some of our just focus and activity and health. And even communication. I feel like our communication has become it used to be face to face. Now it's, I have to say my pet peeve is when I call someone and they text me back. They're like, just pick up the phone and call me back. I want to talk to you. So, I think all of this really combines together because for those of you who are entrepreneurs, if you don't have a good, healthy lifestyle, you're going to struggle because you can't have a good, productive business if you don't have health and wellness. And I think that's really important. The balance, the health, the wellness. You can't successfully really do anything if you're not taking care of yourself first.
Right.
So I just think that's so important. Are there any tips that you can give to any budding entrepreneurs, health startups, or anyone that might learn something that maybe you learned along the way?
Well, a comment that you just made kind of triggered something in my head about, especially as moms, as entrepreneurs, we're often, a wife, a mother, a girlfriend, a daughter, all the things that we are, and a businesswoman. And I think, years ago it was more traditional where women stayed home, they raised the kids, not to say that's good or bad, but now we're doing all of it. So it can be so stressful. So like you were just talking about, trying to do things that are good for you. And, if you're on a plane, hopefully you're not going down, but if you are, you're going to put on the oxygen mask on first. So we do have to take care of ourselves first, because if we're not feeling good, we're not feeling our best, it really shows in everything else that we do or don't do. So we're not going to be able to be the great mother, the great businesswoman, if we're not feeling great. And part of that is the wellness aspect of the mood, the body, the physical, the feeling, all of it integrated together and finding the balance. So whatever balance, your balance might be different than mine. And I know you have a lot on your plate, and you always do, and I do too. And I've tried to actually take a key thing I would suggest is learning the word no.
Yes.
So I know we get overloaded. You get asked to volunteer for something at school and you really don't want to do it, but you say yes just because, but you're inside, you're saying, oh God, I wish I wouldn't have said yes. So saying no to things sometimes, or an event that you really don't want to go to. just say no and free up your plate a little bit. And that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had to do that. When I was younger, I did say yes to everything because, it was very much, okay, sure, I want to help you out. And then I realized that I have to say no. And recently, it's kind of interesting. You're mentioning that over the last month, I've had to say no to a lot of things. And I remember one in particular, I said to myself, this is it's not good for me. I can't say yes to this. It's just too much.
Right.
It's going to push me over the edge. And even though it was really difficult saying no to that person, I had to finally go, which I don't normally do, think about myself and go, you know what? I'm at my level and I need to, I can't serve everyone, and I especially can't serve my clients and my family and my people if I don't say no. And that's a huge one. I mean, I think as women, we're kind of built to say yes all the time. Right. And I don't know if built is the right word, but maybe it's a cultural thing.
Right.
So yeah, definitely I agree with you that the saying no is is definitely one of them. Did you have any struggles when you were starting your entrepreneurship and your business? I hear lots of different things, everything from trying to get the money to start it to just networking. Did you face any of those struggles?
Well, for me, I think, as you know, I was an attorney for many years. So one of the struggles is that people still sometimes see me, Andrea, as the attorney. And they don't think of, wellness, let me talk to her about that. But since I've been doing it now for years, it is getting more integrated into my life and what people think of me now. So that was a bit of a challenge, and it still is. And plus, family pressures like, God, you got that law degree. Why don't you practice law? Why are you talking to people about vitamins and health and wellness? Why aren't you practicing law? And it just got to a point, Julie, where I didn't want to do it anymore. It didn't feel like good anymore, especially maybe the area of law that I did. This feels I'm more passionate about it. It feels more helpful to people. Maybe I've lived in California too long of the greater good and karma kind of thing. But so that's been a struggle. I still hear it from my family sometimes about, professional, go back. And, this is just something that I love doing.
Changing industries is tough, and I've had several friends who have been everything from lawyers to doctors who have done the industry long enough, their industry, that they realized that wasn't their passion, like you said. And it is, I've seen that before, and that is difficult because, you spend a lot of time with that and people are trying to understand that.
Right.
I would say branching out as an entrepreneur, we all worked our day job to get our businesses started because we didn't have, maybe the money to just branch out and do it on our own. And so, that goes back to balance as well. But, I think I started my kids business 10 years ago, or no, 12, and my consulting business about 10 years ago. And I remember starting that out thinking, well, I can't just go full, I've got to still work this and work this. And I think we see that a lot of times. And yeah, it is, I agree with you that I've seen that many times where you run into that challenge of, well, you're a lawyer. Could you just help me with this? Because you used to be a lawyer.
Right.
So you're not doing any law right now.
I'm still an active attorney, but I'm not practicing law.
Okay. Well, so that's nice. So are there anything right now that you're working on that you're really excited about?
Yeah, so this new online course, I have to say technology has been something that's kind of held me back. I use it like you do. I'm very attached to that iPhone. I broke 2 of them recently. I was like, oh my God, am I going to have all my contact information and everything? It was like a panic mode. But so technology is challenging, and there's just, again, so much out there. It's hard to sift through and know like what's going to help us get what we want accomplished. So I'm really learning a lot about technology these days and learning some of the things that I don't want to do. I'm creating a new website, but I realize I'll just stick with creating the content and let someone else actually put up what I want. I'll show them what I want, but they can actually do the manipulation behind the scenes. At first I thought, this looks kind of easy. I think I can do it. I'm like, no, I think not. That'll be very frustrating. So, learning some new things and not letting some things that could hold you back, and just pushing forward, to me is really important and something I strive to do on a consistent basis.
Yeah, technology, I myself fought social media and other things like that for a long time. I just felt like they were a time waster. But then I had clients that started coming in wanting me to do social media for them, teach them on social media. And so I realized that I might be missing the boat. And so then I jumped in and started really getting into it. And now we've immersed ourselves in all of the technology. And I'm thankful Josh is my tech guy that is just, he knows everything. Thank goodness he keeps me up to date on it. As soon as my phone becomes like obsolete, he's got another one ordering.
Right.
But I grew up in a very much non-technology family where, my parents didn't have a computer till I was out of college, and my grandparents who lived next door till they were in their 90s, all they had was, TV and VHS. So, I grew up out in the country, and, we were on phones and we were on technology. So I had to get used to that. But as you mentioned, I'm finding more and more, when I do exercise, I do it at home. Like I'll put on my Connect, and do a workout, a Biggest Loser workout with Jillian, or, something like that. Or I've got outside my elliptical machine and my weights and all that. And so, as I don't get out a lot, and so, and I'll go online and find a good workout plan or things like that. So, I think the technology is great. So you're working on a class then, which I know you said it's not complete yet. So for those of you who are viewing, keep an eye out on our website. We'll definitely post the link once Andrea's class is up so you can connect to her. And we'll definitely put it out to her social media as well. And, I've known Andrea, we said, for about 6 years now. So, and it's really been awesome to watch her growth in this industry. And so I think it's going to be something really fantastic when you're done, and that people are going to really love. In all of this, I know you wrote your own book, which, can you tell our viewers what the book is and where they could find it?
Right, sure. The book is called You Are Not Alone, Life After a Breast Cancer Diagnosis. And I wrote it was published about 4 years ago. It took me about 4 years to write. So actually it's almost 5 years ago that it was out. And I'm a research girl. And when I got diagnosed, I was looking for answers, and I wasn't necessarily getting them. Doctors don't just give you a wealth of information. You have to know the right questions to ask, or you don't get answers. And I'm not saying that to diss doctors. They're very important. I believe still in traditional medicine, Western medicine, plus the integration of other holistic measures and taking our health into our own hands as well in many ways. But so I'm a consistent note taker, just by education and years of training. And I was taking a lot of notes on what the doctors were saying after I asked questions and doing my own research. And then I realized I had like these notebooks full of information that maybe I could help other women, maybe other women who didn't want to ask all the questions or do the research. And so I put the book together, and I had a doctor review it to make sure what I was saying was accurate. And I've gotten really good feedback, and it's been really nice around the world. Actually, I've gotten emails or letters from people. And I expected it really to be only women reading it, but sometimes men read it because their wife got diagnosed, or a mother or sister or someone. And so it helps women, I'm saying women because that's mainly who would be reading it, decrease the risk of breast cancer. There's some things we could be doing, some of the things we're talking about today. And then if they do get diagnosed, maybe what steps they should take in terms of deciding what treatment plan to go with.
Okay.
There aren't that many treatments, but it's the integration. And if I had to write the book over again, which I may edit it at some point, I'd be adding a lot of this wellness and prevention, which I didn't know so much about then when I wrote the book.
Where's the best place for them to find it?
Amazon.
Okay. So Amazon, feel free to go on there and look, and tell us the title one more time again.
You Are Not Alone, Life After a Breast Cancer Diagnosis.
Okay. Awesome. And we'll make sure to post that on our website as well. Besides your book, are there any other people, books, or influencers that helped you move in this direction that you could share with our viewers?
I don't think there's really one particular person, but it's been just a compilation of doing a lot of research and looking and finding things that work for me and integrating all of it. And so, and that's the thing is, sometimes people get overwhelmed and they try and just do too much. So pick a few things. Pick maybe one thing to focus on for right now. Like for me, it's been meditation, adding in meditation, or adding in some vibrant songs in the morning. But pick something that you enjoy and then integrate it into your life and into your world.
And I think, so as you mentioned, you're a researcher. I'm a researcher as well. And you were mentioning, as you were going through the process with breast cancer, researching that, and something that I've heard consistently from you and many other people that work in the health industry, whether it be traditional Western medicine or holistic, is you mentioned that you don't get as much information from the doctors really as you should. And I myself, waiting to have a knee surgery. And so as I researched that, I went from doctor to doctor. I got sent from one specialist to the next specialist, and each person gave me something different. And I had to do a lot of my own research and reaching out to try and find as well, what I could find that was consistent, good information. And I think that's really important as an entrepreneur for those of you who are watching, is that researching your industry and knowing it is really important. Knowing the good stuff and also knowing what to stay away from.
Right.
When I first started out doing business, some mistakes I made were just, I didn't know. And once I really got out there and started really researching my industry, I went, okay, this is what I really needed to know.
Right.
So I think that's really important on that. And is there anyone that's currently doing any type of work right now, like you're doing, that you're excited about, or that you can share with our viewers that you may want them to know about?
Well, one of the things that I'll get back to that in a second, but that just triggered when you were saying something is, whatever your industry might be, try and find a role model who's already doing what you want to be doing and who's successful at what you want to be doing. And that really helps. That really kind of cuts through some of the, the time or the trial and error of what you think might work, but maybe doesn't. So find someone who's doing something successfully and then model it. So there's people like, I'm actually enrolled in a business college right now, a lady named Marie Forleo, who's out of New York. Something I'd heard about for years. So it's different than my industry, but it's helping me bring my world into the technological world of, that was scary for me. So I really admire what she's doing, and follow a lot of what she says to do. And, it's kind of in line with what you're doing as well. Business coaching and development and the personal development aspect of it, and integrated as well. So I really admire her and what she's doing. And then people in the wellness industry, there's lots of them that are around that I do admire. And it's who resonates with you. It's like Dr. Oz. I mean, he's a great example of someone who, I've met him now several times, and he's the real deal. He's on TV, he's doing surgeries still. He gives real information and real ways of doing some simple things that people could integrate right into their life. So I really like what he's doing. And, just find someone who resonates with you. I hope maybe it's me and you can do my course, The Best You. And that's really what I hope to accomplish with it, is help you. Your best you is going to be different than mine or Julie's or other people, but help you become the best you, and integrating some simple things into your life and making some choices that really help you improve.
Absolutely. And I think with, I look at what you're doing, and, the health industry is a tough industry because, like we mentioned, there's so many different types of groups and people and things out there. And, it always comes back to, I look at, I'm a person that I don't do diets. I believe in just living healthy, balanced, eating well, exercising, because I feel like that's important lifelong things. If you have to diet every 6 months because you're gaining your weight back, then, there's a issue there, and so I've always been like that. But of course, I played sports for many, many years. But this is a tough industry, and as well, Catherine, working in holistic medicine as well and promoting health. I think you guys have a tough industry because of so much competition and so many programs out there. And I have to say, there's a lot of programs out there, especially the diet pill thing, that's going on, that people are just getting sucked into.
Right.
So I imagine that, as you guys both mentioned, the education, the research are so important for that. So this has been really fantastic. I think it's a great little peek into what you're doing. And, for those of you who are watching, please definitely keep your eyes out for Andrea's video. And then do you have I know you said you're working on a website, but do you have a current website that they could visit?
Well, it'll be up in about a week or two, so I'm not sure how soon this is going to be up and running, but yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to say it now? Or
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's the usual http:// www, Andrea Schneider. So I know that's a little hard to spell, but Josh will have that spelled out.
Yes.
It's SCHNEIDER. -thebestyou.com. So that's the website that I'm integrating a lot of this in, and there'll be free videos, blogs, information, and hopefully you'll opt into my email list and newsletter. I put out something informative every Tuesday right into your inbox, and share some special things that I don't share just in public, but in the email. So, and back to what you just said, I think a minute ago, really important. I also don't believe in diets because diets really, they don't work. Some kind of fad, you do it, you lose 20 pounds and then you gain back 25. It has to become a lifestyle. So, that's really what I'm all about, is the lifestyle aspect of it.
Absolutely.
There's no quick fix.
No, there isn't. And I think especially for us as we mentioned, as women, we have tremendous schedules. It's different from my mom who got to be a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
And so we find ourselves, very much on the run, and maybe some fast food here and this here and this here. And you don't realize, by the end of the week, how much not great food you've consumed. As I've gotten older, I can't consume any type of junk. It makes me sick.
Right.
So that's good because, I know if I have something that's not great, I just feel sick.
Right.
And so, we work really hard for that. But I agree with you that it's such an important thing. And so, even though we're talking about the health business, for those of you who may not be an entrepreneur that does health, living a very balanced, healthy life is important, because if you are not healthy and balanced, you're not going to be able to run your business. And I think this is such a crucial thing. So keep your eyes and ears open. We'll definitely be promoting Andrea once all her stuff comes out, and we'll make sure to put it on our website and direct it out and do it through social media as well. But thanks for tuning in. And remember, if you need any coaching or help with your business, you can go to our website at www.jdconsulting.com. Give us a call or an email, and we'll chat with you and help you get you started. Thanks for listening today.